Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We have a level 10 links 200% lead video, not quite rainbow unfortunately, but 90% nonetheless. Video around LR Strength UI Goku. A unit that I loved back when he was released purely because of his animations. He was a pretty good unit, he's aged so much. I mean, to be fair, he's 3 years old at this point, so he's actually kind of on course for an easy A. When he'll get one, we'll never know. I mean, I reckon the next time we have a celebration that does involve the Universe Survival Saga, TOP, reps, I reckon this guy would pick up an easy A. As I said, it's been 3 years, he's on course for one. He's aged a hell of a lot though in those 3 years, I won't lie. But this was like, I wouldn't say the turning point, but this guy's animations at the time were, back in 2020, They were something else. They were like you were watching the Dragon Ball Super anime. But we actually have a good rotation immediately started with. One of his best linking partners is literally AGL LRUI, who also at this point is almost 2 years old on global, just over 2 years old on JP. Could see an easy A like as early as next year. And we both know they'll be insane, but not really an ideal rotation with these two just because they both have aged quite a bit. UI Goku's not bad nowadays, but nowhere near as good as he used to be. But in terms of starting numbers, kind of ideally linked up, we are starting with 292k attack stat, 117k defense. Of course, every time he dodges, he will get an extra key +1, an attack and defense +11%, and you have to do that 7 times. And then with some orbs, we do end up triggering Kamehameha, legendary power, things like that. The only link we're missing is over in a flash. But turn 1, pretty much ideally linked up. What are we saying? 4.3, do you know what? Just literally just shy of 4.4, considering he hasn't built up whatsoever. And again, he's like 3 years old. That's not bad. So there's one dodge. Can we get 2? No, we've only got 1. I was kind of expecting more, considering he does have a 70% chance to dodge for 7 turns. He has a 70% chance to dodge for 7 turns, which is very good. Like, don't get me wrong, even in today's meta in Dokkan, that's still very good. The only thing is, outside of his kind of numbers once he's built up, that 70% chance to dodge is all he has. That's why he's aged, that's why he's aged so much. Because once you build that up, once you get the key +7, the attack and defense +77%, and then you have the 77% attack and defense he starts with, he has nothing else outside of the 70% chance to dodge. And even then, once you get to the 8th turn, he then goes down to a 50% chance to dodge, which isn't bad. He just doesn't have anything else going for him. Like, anything else whatsoever. So, you know, if he was to get an easy A, which I said, he's kind of on course to get one. He's, at this point, literally just over 3 years old. He became a 3-year-old unit on the 22nd of this month. It's now the 27th. But in terms of what they could do from, actually, this is not bad of a, this is really not bad of a setup. He actually doesn't link too badly with Easy A Tech God Goku. So when he eventually does get an Easy A, if you're facing a Pure Saiyan enemy or a movie boss enemy, this could be a decent rotation. It actually could. He also works with SSBK as well, but we are yet to get his Easy A on global. We get his Easy A in about just over a month's time during the 8th anniversary. One of the hardest hitting Easy A's and units in the entire game. But considering we want UI Goku to dodge, because he's only dodged once, we're going to keep this rotation going. So he's up to a 380k attack stat, 130k defense off of 1 dodge. He has a plethora of chance to dodge. We can literally build up his full passive right now. All I need you to do is dodge literally almost all of these attacks. There's 2 dodges we've got. If you could dodge super as well, that would be really nice. There's 3. There's 4. Didn't dodge that one. So four dodges is up to 6.3 million on an 18 key. That's still pretty good though. A unit that's 3 years old putting out a 6.3 million attack stat and a 6.5 mil crit. And again, he's not even fully built up just yet. He does need to dodge. What did he dodge there? It was either 5 or 6 attacks. He either needs to dodge 1 or 2 more attacks. That's not bad. His numbers are actually pretty solid still 3 years later, I can't lie. But in terms of what they could do for their Easy A, we could pull some inspiration from the LRUI Goku from year 6, obviously. But one thing immediately, what they have to do is giving some, just give him some super attack effects. All he has right now is disable enemy's guard, cause colossal damage on 12 key, and disable enemy's guard and cause mega colossal damage on 18 key. Give him some super attack effects. Give him raised attack and defense. Give him like by 30% on 12 key. On 18 key, give him 50%. Something like that. Just give him something a bit extra. Give him a little bit more oomph. Or, again, pull him from UI Goku from year 6. You could give him built-in crit on his super. Or his passive. Maybe you could build up crit chance by dodging, things like that. But you could pull from that UI Goku and give this man some crit chance. Maybe don't give it to him on both. I think that would be a bit too far. But maybe, yeah, maybe give him raise attack and defense on 12 key. Maybe 50% on 18 key. Or maybe on like 12 key he gets like just raise attack, and then on 18 key he gets both. You know, just something to even it out. And then if you get the 18 key off, maybe instead of a 50% chance to crit on super, maybe give him a 30% chance to crit. I feel like that would be very nice. I feel like that would be really, really good. Without making him too ridiculous on the level of the year 6 LR. But kind of make him like a B-Tech kind of drawn back version. Because them two units are very similar in how they operate. Just of course, the year 6 LR is way better. So I said, give him some SA effects. And on an 18 key rather than both. And instead of a 50% chance like the year 6 LR, give him a 30% chance to crit on super as well. Really go for it. But I said he does link pretty well versus BK. I said he will get his EZA during the 8th anniversary. So this is a possible rotation. But this guy really needs his EZA first. But considering we only need to dodge one more time to put up his passive, or maybe twice, I can't remember. We're up to just under a 500k attack stat, 169k defense. As you can see, this man needs something on super attack a bit extra. Because his defense, while he has a 70% chance to dodge for 7 turns, which is great, but having like what's going to be just under 200k defense once he's fully brought up, it's just not enough right now. Nowhere near enough. So like he needs a bit more to go with that 70% chance to dodge. I'm not saying he needs like 500-600k defense and then the 70% chance to dodge, but he needs like at least about maybe 200 to 300k defense. 6.1 right now, 6.18. Well, like that would be good. That 70% chance to dodge while having like 300k defense, I feel like will be like the perfect balance. Yeah, some SA effects, give him that chance to crit on super, really make it worth building up his passive so we can do some damage. Of course, the attack and defense, update those numbers. Although this UI Goku seems heavily kind of themed around 7, of course, Reps Universe 7. Everything is 77%, 7 turns, things like that. So maybe keep the 77%, and then, you know, you have the dodge. Every time he dodges, he does build up to 77%. So maybe with that, maybe he could, I don't know, maybe on super he gets an extra attack and defense plus 77%, something like that. Or maybe after, you know, 3-5 attacks, something like that, maybe he then gets an extra 77%. Either way, if they want to keep that theme going, and then give him some extra defense along the way so that theme is still there, give it to him through super, give it to him through building up, any way you want, as long as he gets a bit extra. But as long as essentially those numbers get updated, of course that needs to happen. If they want to move away from that, that's fine. That 77% at the start of turn can go. Just boost it up to like 100 and something. The 70% chance to dodge is good. Of course, that doesn't need to be touched. It is for 7 turns. I do think that has to be bumped. If God Goku can have 10 turns of extra attack and defense, or defense, you know, a 50% chance to dodge with crit, then LRUI Goku can have 10 turns of a 70% chance to dodge. And then if you want to stay around the theme of 7 and the Reps Universe 7, after 7 turns rather than 8, like he has on his passive right now, maybe drop that turn down, because he does get more turns of a 70% chance to dodge. So once he gets to 10 turns, after the 10th turn, maybe he goes down to a 50% chance to dodge instead. I don't know. Or maybe after the 7th turn. Actually, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to work, because if you want him with 10 turns of a 70% chance to dodge, you can't then say after 7. You know, that doesn't work. But I do think that needs to be bumped up. As I said, Dokkan likes their themes, but I don't know if this is one they really want to stick with. But I feel like maybe 10 turns of a 70% chance to dodge, and after the 10th turn he goes down to a 50. Still, 7 turns of a 70% chance to dodge isn't bad. I'm not gonna lie, it's not bad. Or maybe just remove the whole turn limit in general. Maybe just Maybe just keep him with a 70% chance to dodge. No turn limit, nothing. But they're probably going to keep it, let's just be honest. But I think he's fully built up right now. If he isn't, he does have a chance to dodge one more attack before he attacks. He's up to 530k right now, 182k defense. As I said, his defense really does need some help. Like, while a 70% chance to dodge for 7 turns is great, not even having 200k defense is a little bit concerning if the game decides, oh yeah, we're not going to dodge. Which is why he's just made of glass in difficult content nowadays. But 6.22 mil. I said, for a unit that has literally just become 3 years old, that's still really good. 4.1 mil crit as well, and he's dodging now. So we're going to find out if he is fully bottom next time he comes back. But yeah, definitely needs some extra defense. I said, maybe give him something on super as well. And if you do update the start of turn numbers, maybe bump the 7 turn dodge or the 7 turn of a 70% chance to dodge up to 10. Then after that goes down to a 50. Of course, he does build up to key plus 7 and attacker defense plus 77%. Again, you could update those numbers, but if they're kind of sticking with the whole 7 theme, that can still stay there. As long as he's getting some extra attack and defense on super attack effect, something in his passive, whether that's on super or after he performs so many super attacks, he gets extra attack and defense. I don't really mind, as long as there's some extra attack and defense, some extra buffs in there. I think that will mainly help him out a lot. And then aside from his passive, that's about it. As I said, without basically making him, you know, kind of like a newer, like basically the new year 6 LRUI Goku, there's not so much you can do to him, because obviously you don't want to make him basically on the level of the year 6 LRUI Goku, because then it's kind of like, oh, you've updated him, you've easy-aided him, he's been upgraded, but he's kind of outdated upon release. Or not really, but, you know, you can pull some inspiration from the year 6 LR. As I said, with a crit chance on his 18 key, not both, just the 18 key. Don't make it 50%, make it 30%. You could give him an additional, but I don't know. I don't think he necessarily needs it. It would be nice if he had one, don't get me wrong, just like the year 6 LR, but I don't think he needs it. But no, you know, his whole thing is dodging, you know, that's kind of his thing, that's kind of his gimmick. Same with, funny enough, this guy as well. And he's already got that build up in his passive. I don't know, maybe he builds up crit chance in his passive. Maybe you don't do a year 6 LRUI Goku and have it on his 18 key on super. Maybe he builds up crit chance in his passive every time he dodges as well. I don't know, maybe something like that. Okay, he is now definitely built up. That one extra dodge has fully built him up now. Actually, is he? No, we've got an extra link. Yeah, we've got Over in a Flash active. So we're going to do this with Over in a Flash drop to 630k and 200k defense. But yeah, well, what this man really needs is he needs a bit of oomph. A bit of oomph when it comes to defense. Like, he just doesn't have enough. Like, the 70% chance to dodge is great. What about them times where dodge is disabled and this man has no defense, and all you have to do is sneeze on him and bang, he's dead. Like, you're taking like 300k on a basic. Like, obviously his numbers need to be updated, but he needs some padding. He needs some defense to go with that 70% chance to dodge. I'm not saying he needs to have, like, you know, ridiculous amounts of defense, like 600-700 plus K with a 70% chance to dodge. Just enough where red zone basics aren't at risk at killing him at all times while being able to dodge. You know, kind of like Gogeta blue levels. I mean, if they want to go down the route of giving this man, like, raise attack and defense by 50% for like 4 or 5 turns, go for it. He would actually be amazing. Especially with a crit chance built into his passive, whether you want to build that up or not with dodge, like I said, or have it in like year 6 LRUI Goku and have it onto his 18 gi with like a 30% chance. That would work really nicely. Funny enough, that'd actually be sick. I'd like that a lot. Like, a lot. But yeah, I don't think you actually have to do too much to this unit to make him that good. As I said, his numbers for a 3-year-old unit is already pretty good. Naturally, by giving him some SAFX, which Dokkan actually pretty good at doing, those numbers are going to jump up. Naturally, his defense is the main thing that does need to change. Again, by updating his numbers, maybe giving him something on super attack. I said like an extra attack and defense plus 77% or 70%, something like that, to get his numbers up, and maybe an SA effect as well. His defense will be in a solid spot, and again, especially with a 70% chance to dodge, having that for 7 turns is fine. I would say, just to make it a bit more consistent, have it for 10 turns, then he goes down to a 50% chance after the 10 turns. But keeping that for 7 turns and then the 8th going down to 50 kind of sticks with that whole 7 theme. And again, having that for 7 turns is not too bad when you consider some of the units that are going to surround him and how much damage they can do. you know, easy A, SSBK eventually. When his easy A drops on global, he has like one of the biggest and heaviest hitting attack stats in the game. You've got the year 7 units. You can have the year 8 units. There's also Beast Gohan. I know he gets slandered a lot. Actually, it's not even slander. I know he gets heavily criticized, but he can do some damage. You know, there's a ton of heavy hitters surrounding this unit. But for the final rotation, let's have him set up like this, or with a slot 1 unit, and then him in slot 2. As I said, he's definitely fully built up right now. God Goku won't do enough damage to kill after we got rid of our Dokkan attack. But as I said, you don't actually need to do too much to this guy. Like, I would be a big fan if they did take the crit chance and put it into his 18 key super, just like the year 6 LR. I thought that'd be good. But just mainly some updated numbers. 7.39. That's without legendary power. As I said, he's still putting out good numbers for a 3-year-old unit. He just needs some defense to go with everything else. Just relying on a 70% chance to dodge and then 50 is just not enough. But I think ideally, to conclude, as I said, update his numbers naturally. Give him a bit more oomph. Extra attack and defense in his passive, on super, on build up, whatever it is. Maybe give him some crit chance in 18 key, like a 30% chance to crit like the year 6 LR. Or instead of a 50, give him 30. Or maybe build the crit chance up every time he dodges with the extra key in attack and defense. Something like that. He just needs a bit more oomph. He's actually still a pretty solid unit. He just needs to have updated numbers and a bit more about him. And he's actually a very solid easy A. Like, they could do a bit extra, like something to do with having like a Universe Survival Saga or Reps Universe 7 category unit with you, but I don't really want him to be tied down by restrictions. Like, maybe he can have a chance of doing an additional next to one. That would be okay, but I feel like we're going overboard. But yeah, just some updated numbers and a bit more oomph in terms of attack and defense, and especially defense. And this man is good to go. Again, maybe taking another leaf or a page out of LR Year 6 UI Goku's book. Maybe after dodging, he gets some extra defense as well. Like, just separately. Like, Goku gets that extra 30% for the turn. Maybe so does he. You know, maybe 30, 50%. But he's still pretty good. As I said, he just needs a bit more defense to be able to, like, go with his 70% chance to dodge. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe while you're there as well. I'll see you in the next video, guys. And peace.